Let's get right to it. Paul Gill, we met last year and just fell in love with this company. Got a chance to cover him for a while. It's Lomiko is the name of the company. Lomiko is spelled Lomiko, Lomiko Metals. It's the world of graphite as you've never probably thought about it before. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol LMRMF in this country. And if you can go to lomiko.com, you can find a ton of stuff about him. But Paul is the CEO of Lomiko Metals, and he's been involved in a lot of growth stage companies, but we've gotten to know him. And if you think in terms of what the hottest subject of the week was, what was it? Tesla stock.
Oh, it's huge.
Take a look again today. Tesla stock's gone up 60% in 5 days. It's pulled back quite a bit today because you knew there was going to be some profit taking. Jared, pull up the chart because this is in concert with our next guest.
See.
Okay, so it's dropped about 20% today, but still, it's gone up 40% in 5 days. When you think Tesla, you're not thinking automobiles, or you shouldn't be thinking automobiles.
Not anymore. I hear
you should be thinking batteries.
Battery-powered
That's
houses.
exactly right. EVs, batteries, and all that is dependent upon a couple of things. One of which is graphite. Paul, you must be feeling pretty good right now, my friend. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm feeling good. Looking at the electric vehicle revolution that's going on, it's amazing.
So when you think in terms of just how far ahead Tesla is with respect to the EV, you know that Ford and BMW, and you saw Audi in the Super Bowl commercials, and GM and Jaguar and everything else. You know that they're going to come with a big play. That means a lot of money being thrown at this vertical and this sector and this category. That only helps companies like Lomiko. Tell the folks exactly what you guys do there, because this is a big part of this.
Yeah, what we do at Lomiko is we find battery materials, and the one that we're working on right now is graphite. Graphite is a key component of the lithium-ion battery. There's 15 times more graphite than there is lithium in the battery. And so we've got a big chunk of it that we found out in Quebec, and we're developing it. But we think that this is going to be a very big requirement for people to build battery materials and electric vehicles.
And forgive me, it's Lomiko, not Lomiko. It's Lomiko Metals. And this is what I want to talk about, though, because this is not just a mining exploration play. This is a technology play, is it not?
Yeah, we're working on developing the materials. We want to have soup to nuts, basically. We want to take the material out of the ground, develop it into spherical graphite, which is used in a graphite anode, and sell that graphite anode. And you get a lot more value for that material than you would just normal raw graphite. So we're not dealing with pencil lead.
Yeah, well, exactly. This brings me back, by the way.
It ain't your father's pencil lead.
Because Russ is now thinking, how do they make those pencils?
I know.
Here's what's interesting about this. This brings me back to the U.S.-China trade war back here when rare earth metals came to be. And all of a sudden, the supply-demand sort of question about rare earths as it relates to electronics came up. And, of course, you saw a bit of a run on electronics prices. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and the way I'm reading, and I've obviously been looking at Tesla and the ancillary models over the last week, not just the EV market, but the battery market that Tesla's involved with, there's going to be a supply-demand equation in your favor in the graphite business coming up very shortly. That's got to play into your plans, correct? Because there's only so much of it that's being mined. They're going to need a lot more. Mm-hmm. Are you guys ahead of that curve? Because the rest of the industry is not.
Yeah, we're right there. We're actually at the latter end of developing the open pit model. So we'll be reporting on that this year. So we'll be ready to report and get that material tested for battery materials. So we're going to be in a good situation. The basic idea right now is that North America is trying to build up its own supply chain so they don't have to depend on China. So it's a big deal.
Talk about graphite prices. I don't think anybody even thinks about that. I mean, obviously, we're too busy talking about gold, copper,
I haven't even
silver.
bought a pencil lately.
Are pencils going up? You think?
That's what I wonder.
Talk about graphite prices. How is it priced? Is it priced in ounces? Is it priced in pounds? Is it priced in feet?
Yeah, it's right now it's priced in tons. And what we deal with is there's a variety of purity and size of the material. So pencil lead is, of course, only about $500 per ton. But when you get to material that's used in electric vehicles, it can be anywhere between $27,000 to $3,000 per ton US. So that's the stuff we're going after. And if you develop that into that material, spherical graphite, that's what's used in the electric vehicles.
Now, one of the first things you brought, by the way, his name is Paul Gill. He's the CEO of Lomiko Metals. They are publicly traded. You can go to lomiko.com. That's Lomiko for our radio audience. We'll also put the link up at bigbizshow.com. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol LMRMF. And one of the first things you brought up was a lithium-ion battery. Now, lithium-ion batteries, as you mentioned, have more graphite in them than lithium, but the category for cars is just one piece of this. There are a lot more uses for lithium-ion. Is that another market for you? Is that an ancillary market, or are you just concentrating on the automobile market? Oh my goodness, we lost Paul. Well, tell you what.
Absolutely.
Oh, there it is.
It is a market, because we're dealing with everything from scooters to electric wheelchairs to all kinds of other types of areas where batteries are used. But graphite isn't just batteries; it's also used in steel making and as an electrode in other.
Sure.
Other things.
I mean, there's a lot more categories. Talk about you guys as a company. Talk about where you were, where you're going, because when we talked to you last time, you made a lot of strides. I love the fact when we talk to a guy like you that says, this is what we're going to do, then you guys do it actually. And then we get to visit you and kind of follow, because we're going to start following this company more closely on a regular basis. Paul, talk about where you've been in the last year, where you're going in the next 18 months.
Yeah, we just got through a process of removing a number of risks that were associated with developing a mine. One is, do you have the material in the ground? So we've obviously drilled now, and we talked last summer before we were drilling. So now we've drilled, we've found the material, we found an extensive amount, and it's a contiguous ore body, which is very important. And now, so the next step is to do the tests that are required to convert that material, process it, figure out what the costs will be. And we know what the market is. Market's $27,000 to $3,000 per ton. If we can get the cost down to under $500 to $600 per ton, we've got a lot of room to make money.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I love the story. I want to continue following the story. His name is Paul Gill. The name of the company is Lomiko Metals. That's Lomiko, Lomiko Metals. They are in the graphite business. They're in the battery business. They're in the exploration business.
And the pencil business.
And they're in the pencil business also. And I'm really excited. No, they're not in the pencil business.
I bet the bad stuff just falls on the ground. You go, hey, man.
Check out LMRMF. That's their stock symbol. We're going to have Paul back. I really like this deal. We're going to have him back on a regular basis.